Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Vidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shrutismati Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Madarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. So this we have seen Ikshatyadhikaranam Pradhane Bhogya Varga Karane Heyatvena Heyatvena Va Vijñāte Bhogtrivarga Vijñāto Bhavati Apradhana Vikaratvad Bhogtrivargasya Rasmanna Pradhanam Shabdavacham. Up to this we have seen. This is Najan. Okay. So the last line of this particular sutra we have to do. The last line. So the source of the universe can in no way be concluded as physical matter. Physical matter is what we call creation, what we call universe. When we say universe, we mean matter, space. Anything that is objectifiable, anything that can become an object of thinking, anything that can become an object of sense perception, is called the world, it's called the universe, it's called matter. You say matter is that. It's physical. And matter is an object of thought, but matter itself doesn't entertain a thought because it's not conscious. It's matter. There is someone who looks at the matter, but matter itself doesn't look at the matter. So, the word matter, whatever is the meaning of that word matter, the exhaustive meaning of the word matter forms the universe. When we say universe, matter in its entirety. When we say universe, matter in its entirety. So, the gross matter is matter. If you imagine some subtle matter, that is also matter. Matter visible to the naked eye is matter. Matter not visible to the naked eye is also matter. So once we use the term matter, the meaning, the entire meaning, the entire connotation of the word matter forms the universe. And now we are putting a question, what is the source of it? The unfoldment that the scripture is making is, hey, what is the source of? The analysis is, what is the source of the universe? What is the source of the matter? Now we can't make a conclusion, matter is the source of the matter. That's wrong. Matter is not the source of the creation, because when we use the word matter, wherever that matter is, it's a part of the creation, the universe. If you go to heaven, Supposing after death one goes to heaven. Supposing. We are just supposing. Don't imagine. Swamiji, did you go and come back to it? I am only supposing. Suppose. After death you go to heaven, and there also you see the same world, same kind of world. Because there has to be perception. Either it has to be perception with eyes open, or it has to be perception with eyes closed like in the dream. But it's still the perception. What does it matter? It's a thought. It's form, sounds, taste, touches, smells. These are all just a vision, objectified vision. That's heaven. And that whole thing comes under matter. It's matter. You go to hell, that's matter. That means every realm of perception, every realm of sense perception, every realm of thought, every realm of feeling, every realm of thought in its entirety. Any realm of thought comes under matter. Now the analysis here is what is the source of the matter. Therefore, you have a responsibility not to be loose in thinking. While thinking about the reality, while thinking about the sacred truth, the individual has a responsibility not to be loose in thinking. So, if somebody says, no, matter became matter, that's being loose. I say, I am defining the word matter. Matter means wherever there is, whether it is objectified by the naked eye, not objectifiable by the naked eye. Everything comes under matter. And the matter is inert, it is objectified, it's physical, it's in the form of space, air, fire, water, earth. And this body is made of those 5 elements. And there are eyes, ears, senses, which are also part of the matter. The mind, that is also a part of matter. Thought is matter, because it is objectified. I see the thoughts. Thoughts don't see, but I see thoughts. I have love inside. I see the love, but the love doesn't see me. The love doesn't see. So emotions, we see them. Therefore, anything that is objectified, emotions that are known, objectified, thoughts that are known, objectified, and pleasures and pains, notions, all that comes under the realm of thought. That meets the definition of a thought. It all comes under matter. So thought also comes under matter. So when we say the source of the creation, it is just trying to find out the source of the matter and also the thought. It is going into the topic, that is the source of the form and the thought, the sound, the thought, the taste, the thought. The world and the mind in simple language. The source of the mind, the source of the eyes and the forms, the source of the ears and the sounds, the source of the mind and the universe. Is there a source? And if there is a source, that cannot be again physical. And therefore here he is saying, Nacha sachabda vache pradhane bhogyavarga karane. And the pratigna is the teacher gave a pratigna to his Uddalaka, said to his son Shvetaketu, a truth is that by knowing which you come to know everything. Like what? He gave the examples also. By knowing one clay, you know all that is made of clay. Once you know what is clay, then every pot that is made of clay, you can say, I know it. I know what a pot is. I know what a pot is. I know what a mud pot is. Why? Because I know what mud is, clay is. I know what a clay pot is because I know what clay is. I know what an ornament is. I know what an ornament is because I know what gold is. Because all ornaments are made of gold. This is Indian thinking. Indian thinking means Vedic, correct thinking. You touch the basis. Similarly, if I know water, I know the ocean. If I know what water is, then I know all waves. Because I know they're all nothing but water. Nothing great about it. I don't have to live with an idea. I don't have to live with a complex in my mind. Oh, I have known only the waves in Bombay. But I have not seen the waves in Madras. So that coming, I feel that, that lack in me. Supposing some joker thinks. I say whether it is Bombay waves or Madras waves or Calcutta waves, there are waves, water. A wise man says, hey, I know what is water. And all waves are nothing but water. What is there to be curious about it? What is there to be curious about? Ornaments. I know they're all made of gold. Similarly, here, Uddalaka says, hey Swetaketu, there is a reality. There is a truth. By knowing which you come to know the whole universe, because the whole universe is made of that truth. Is made of that truth. And that truth is not physical. The physical is not made of the physical. Because the physical by definition is made, understand. You have to be very clear about the definition. The definition of the physical is that which is made, means brought about. To be made, to be brought about, to be created, and to be objectified is all synonyms. Anything that is that stands objectified by me, a form stands objectified by me, it stands known to me, it stands observed by me, sounds stand observed by me, the world stands observed by me, the world stands objectified by me. So the matter, the physical, is something that is objectified and made. Therefore, if there is some source, that source cannot be again physical, and that source is Chetanam, it is consciousness. It is consciousness that is the material with which the matter is made, meaning the matter is seen. Like dream world is matter, it is realm of thoughts. Thoughts only look like things. Dream things are nothing but thoughts looking like things. If dream things are nothing but thoughts looking like things, the waking things also could be thoughts looking like things, because things are not other than thoughts. Thoughts looking like things are called thoughts. Things can't be created. There are no things in the truth, in this universe. There are no things. There are only thoughts looking like things. So, as long as I am in the dream, I can never look upon the dream things as thoughts looking like things, but in the dream, we always see they are in reality things. They are real things. The dream tiger is a real thing. The dream river is a real thing. The dream robber is a real thing. The knife in his hand is a real thing. The dream hunger is a real thing. Dream food is a real thing. That is how they all really, the dream things never reveal themselves to be mere thoughts looking like things. Dream objects always present themselves as real things. And we call them also dream things. That's just, that's what we call, well, it's a language used in the society. We make the language light. You don't use in our interaction with people, you don't use philosophical language, the language that is used in the scripture. You don't say, you don't talk to a person saying, oh, last night I saw a dream tiger which was a thought looking like a thing. Unless it is a holy. Because on a holy day, you have all those things, bhang, etc. So after taking bhang, you can say, I had a dream in which there was a dream, a thought of a tiger looking like tiger thing. We say when we talk to somebody about the dream, we always say, oh, I had a dream in which I saw a tiger, a lion, a zoo. I went to a zoo and I saw this. I went to America and meet. All these things are all real. Absolutely looking like real. But when we sit down for analysis, the language changes, the thinking changes. We start thinking, which we never think in life, in the context of sitting and analyzing. When we sit and analyze, when we sit and investigate, when we sit and look at our own experiences more closely, that particular context in which we investigate, our thinking changes and our language also changes. In Vyavahara, in day-to-day interaction, what are the dream objects? They're just dream objects. But when we analyze, what are they? They're not dream objects. They are thoughts looking like things. You can't prove them as things. How they are things? Tangible things means what are they? Where do they go? And things don't appear and disappear. It is the thoughts that appear and disappear, and it is the thoughts that look like things also. In consciousness, in the observer, only thoughts can be formed. Thoughts can take place in the observer. Things don't take place in the consciousness. Thoughts can be formed. Thoughts can take place in the observer. Therefore, all the objects are nothing but thoughts looking like things, and therefore all the objects are thoughts fundamentally. It is all thinking. It's not really a fact that is there independent of thinking. It is thinking. Like mirage water, It's a perception, it's thought. It's a perception, not that there is a real water. It may look like a real water, but it is a simple perception looking like an object of perception. Actually it is perception. Mirage water is perception, but looks like an object of perception, a real object. It looks like a real object of perception. But actually it is not an object of perception, but it is just perception. And therefore, all perceptions and thoughts can be traced to the consciousness, and therefore we can say consciousness can be the source of matter. Awareness can be the source of matter. The observer of matter is the source of matter. The Sakshi, the observer of things, is the source of the things. The observer, like the one who observed, saw the dream, survives the dream, survives the negation of the dream. In fact, when the wave falls, that wave form dies, that identity, that water survives. And in fact, this is one of the innate ways of Vedic thinking, that what survives is the truth of what disappears. It's a very fantastic unfoldment. What survives is the truth of what disappears. Because what disappears, it disappears unto what survives. If the matter disappears, if the matter resolves, if the thought resolves, it resolves unto the awareness which survives the thought. And awareness does survive. Why? Because we not only see the thought, we also appreciate, we also perceive, we also know the negation of thought. And the one who knows the presence of thought and also the negation of thought, the one who sees the presence of thought and also the negation of thought, definitely survives the thought. And the one who survives the thought is the truth of the thought. The one who is the truth of the thought is called the Atma. When you say Atma, it means the actuality of the mind. The actuality. Like the actuality of the wave is to be water. That is its actuality. Thought is an appearance and it's Atma, clay. You get the word. Try to understand the meaning of the word Atma in that manner. Thought is a creation and its Atma is clay, the material. That is its Atma. Clay is the Atma. Water is the Atma of the wave. Similarly, the actuality of the mind is called Atma of an individual. So, consciousness being the source of matter, by understanding correctly ourselves as the conscious being, not the form, we are by identity, we are in actuality, we are the conscious being, the ever observing, the ever aware conscious being, not the form. In this manner, by knowing our own self, we come to know everything, because everything is made of consciousness. That is the pratigna. That is the pratigna. What is the pratigna? There is a reality The father said to the son, "Hey Shvetaketu." Shvetaketu comes back from the college, became a graduate, नकल करके पास हुआ, नकल करके पास हुआ, comes back home and then feeling great, arrogant, feeling there is a degree of arrogance. Therefore, he did not even touch the feet of his father, because his father did not get he was not a graduate from that modern institution. Maybe he had learned some Sanskrit. So the son was looking little arrogant. Then the father tells him, "Hey, why do you look so arrogant? Why do you look so arrogant? Your education should have made you humbler. Your education should have made you humbler, but I see you little arrogant." Did you ask your teachers? Did you learn from your teachers that truth by knowing which everything becomes known? The boy said, "I don't think my teachers also knew it." That is called arrogance. The answer should be, "I did not learn." Is it not? Answer should be, did you learn from your teachers that reality by knowing which everything becomes known? What should he say? "I did not." That's being humble. That's humility. It's a humble answer. And it is truthful answer, because it is just an answer in keeping with the question. Did you learn? "No, I did not." Perfect. He didn't say, "I did not learn." He said, "I don't think my teachers learned." Then, being a graduate, this is what education, this is how the education helps. Education may create ego, but education also creates in you a certain stamina to question and think, to investigate, to wonder at things, to wonder at certain statements. Therefore, even though he nursed certain ego, he asked his father, Father, is there a reality by knowing which really you come to know the whole thing? Is there such a thing? Can there be such a thing?" Then the father says, "Yes." "Can you give me some examples?" Then the father said, "He ekena mritpindena sarvam mrinmayam vijñātagam syāt." By knowing one clay, you come to know all the pots made of clay. You don't have to really investigate and study every pot. You don't have to study every pot. If you study one pot and then know that it is just made of clay, then you come to know that all pots made of clay. This is a wonderful example. By knowing gold, you know all the ornaments. In that manner, there is a reality with which the space is made. Air, fire, water, earth, sun, moon, stars, that means the entire matter is made of one reality, and that reality is called the Sat. Sat, the being. Sat, the source. Sat, the ever-present. Sat, the awareness. And that by knowing the self, the awareness, Because I don't come across awareness in the creation. Whatever I see is matter. The awareness is only the one who is aware, is the only awareness. The one who is aware of the form is awareness. The one who is aware of the sound is awareness. And if you go in search of awareness, wherever you go in search of awareness, go in search of awareness. Hey, the one who is going in search of awareness is awareness. This is called Dashama Drishtan, the 10th man. The 10th man goes in search of the 10th man. He is the 10th man, but he doesn't know that he is the 10th man. He thinks the 10th man is elsewhere and he is going all over. Similarly, going in search of awareness. When you go in search of awareness, what you see is a form, what you hear is a sound, what you taste is an object, what you touch is an object, what you smell is an object, what you love is a form, what you hate is a form. These all matter, and matter is not aware. Matter is something that I am aware of. Therefore, the awareness is nowhere in the creation. Awareness is the seer of creation. The one who sees creation is awareness. The one who sees creation is awareness. And that awareness is what is our actual identity. This form is not our identity, because the form cannot be aware. A man dies, if form has the nature. If the form is by nature aware, then even after death the form should? No, then it will refuse to be burnt. You put it on the fire and it will come off. Again put it back, it will come off. Hey Rama, it will be terrible. Therefore, form can never be aware. Form can never be aware. Therefore, the one who is aware cannot be the form. Simple logic. Form can't be aware. Form can't be aware. The table can't be aware. This body also can't be aware. And therefore the one who is aware of the body and the creation should be other than the form. Thus by knowing the observer, everything becomes known. That is the pratigna. So matter is made of awareness, but awareness cannot be concluded as a made up matter. This also. This is what is. To come to this particular point, we went into so much of a huge story. We experience thoughts being made of the observer, thoughts being entertained by the conscious observer. We do not have the experience. We don't have an experience that all thoughts put together bring about the observer. We do not experience thoughts creating a thinker. We experience a thinker thinking thoughts, not thoughts creating thinker. We experience the dreamer dreaming a dream world, but we do not experiencing the dream world bringing about the dreamer. We do not experience the observer being brought about. We do not experience the thoughts bringing about the observer, emotions bringing about the observer, thoughts creating thinker. We don't see thoughts creating thinker, but we see thinker entertaining thoughts. And the thinker who entertains thoughts also sees the thoughts. And when the thoughts are there, we see them. When thoughts disappear, also we see them. Therefore, as observer, we are not created. Understand? Consciousness is not a product. Consciousness is not a product. If consciousness were a product, a result, then generally it should be a product of matter. If consciousness is a product, then it should be a product of matter. And what is a product of matter should enjoy the same destiny of matter. The product of matter being inert, the product of matter also should be inert. How can the consciousness be aware of matter? If matter is resolvable, if matter is something that can change and disappear, matter changes. Therefore, the product of matter, consciousness, also should change. But our experience tells that consciousness doesn't change. Consciousness does not change. Why? Consciousness registers the changes of the body and the mind. The one who registers the change should not by law change. The one who registers the change should not change. You have to look at this sentence again and again. The one who registers change should not, cannot, and does not change. And that is what we are constantly experiencing. You see, that means what we are constantly experiencing is the changelessness of ourselves. It does not change. Body is changing and I am aware of it. Body is constantly changing and I am aware of the changes. I am aware of the constant changes of the body, constant changes in my mind also, thoughts. My thinking also goes on changing. My views keep on changing. My attitudes keep on changing. Emotions keep on changing. Who doesn't change? It is not possible for the body not to change. It is not possible for the mind not to change. It is not possible for the thoughts not to change. They also go through change. A thought comes and goes, that is a change. Love begins and fades out, that's a change. If mind never changes, हमारा एक छोटा सा प्रश्न है, if mind never changes, then how can the divorce, how are the divorces possible? Why divorces are taking place? Divorces are taking. Why? The mind is not the same, and you must see the contrast between their hurry to marry and their hurry to separate. Papa. They are in a hurry to marry, and afterwards they are in a hurry to separate. Why? Hey, you are not yet ready for marriage. They get married when they are not yet mentally ready for marriage. And the mind changes. The topic here is, the mind does change. If somebody's mind changes, don't feel shocked. Don't feel shocked. Mind changes. Does change. But truth, there is a reality. My knowledge that the body changes, my knowledge that the mind changes, that knowledge, that awareness doesn't change. In other words, the fact that the body changes doesn't change. The fact means that knowledge. The fact that the body changes doesn't change. The fact that the mind changes doesn't change. And that fact means knowledge. Whenever we use the word fact, it means knowledge. The fact that the fire is hot. What is that fact? The fact that the fire is hot, what does it mean? My awareness, my knowledge that it is hot. Doesn't change. My knowledge, the fact that the body ages, doesn't age. The knowledge that the body changes and ages is eternal. The knowledge that the mind changes is eternal. And therefore, consciousness is not a product of matter, because if it were a product of matter, then the matter changes, therefore the product of matter also should change, but awareness doesn't change, therefore awareness is not a product of matter. Awareness is not the product of matter. Nor have the scientists come to a conclusion that awareness is a product of matter, because awareness is not the topic of science, understand? Awareness is not the topic of science. Awareness has not yet even begun to be the topic of science. They only think of matter. Only think of matter. What is this awareness? They don't know. That has not yet surfaced as the topic. The observer, no scientist can say the observer, which is also a product of matter, he can't afford to say. Observer is not a product of matter. Vedanta says the observer of all thoughts, the observer of the waking, the observer of the dream, the observer of time in the waking, and the observer of negation of time. I'm just trying to go into the topic very leisurely, therefore don't say, Swami, it's tough. That's why I'm being slow. Tough can also be grasped if it is put slow. Slow. It's a path it's a rugged path, but go slow. You can go. Go slow. You can walk on rugged path, but slow. You can climb a mountain, but slow. It's a very important topic in life. It can be understood, but go slow. That's why we are going slow. Therefore, if we are able to observe the thought and its negation, and observing means observing both presence and absence. That is the definition of observing. Observing a pleasure, supposing there is some pleasure, I remember something and feel nice, that thought, that nice feeling. I observe that nice feeling. That's why I say, oh, I feel nice. I observe the nice feeling. And the nice feeling goes away. After some time it goes away. When your cook says there is no coffee in the kitchen, then the nice feeling goes away. Then I observe that also. And the one who observes the presence of a nice feeling and the absence of the nice feeling, that observer doesn't disappear. Therefore, consciousness is not the product of matter, whereas matter is a creation in awareness. Why? Because objects can never be proved as objects. Objects can only be proved as thoughts, and thoughts exist only in consciousness. Thoughts looking like things. Thoughts look like things. And thoughts they all boil down to awareness. Therefore, thus now we are concluding the topic now. By knowing matter, by knowing the universe, you need not know yourself. By knowing matter, you need not know the observer. But by knowing the observer, you know the universe. By knowing yourself, you come to know the universe. But by knowing the universe, the matter, you need not know the self. This they put in a very simple way. By knowing yourself, you come to know everything. Is not some kind of a statement of somebody's fantasy, some kind of exaggerated statement. It's a simple truth. Like by knowing clay, you come to know all the pots made of clay. Similarly, by knowing yourself, you come to know the entire universe as nothing but that very observer. But by knowing the universe, you need not know the observer. This is the thing. By knowing the subject, I come to know the object also. But by knowing the object, you need not know the subject. You need not know the subject. This is the whole thing. Nacha sachabdavache pradhane bhogya varga karane. So matter, it only constitutes matter. Bhogya means objects. Bhogya. Varga means the objects, the group of objects. Karane, matter is the material for all the individual objects. Heyatvena, aheyatvena va vijñāte, whether it's something that is to be avoided or not to be avoided, in whatever way you know matter, va vijñāte bhoktrivargo vijñāto na bhavati. By knowing the material objects, you would not know the subject, the observer. But by knowing the subject, you would know the objects. Apradhana vikaratvat bhoktrivargasya. The observer is not the product of matter. Shankaracharya says, the observer is not the product of matter. Tasma, therefore, last sentence. Na pradhanam sachabdavachyam. Therefore, when we say truth, the word sat, when we say, we do not mean some subtle matter. God, when we say, we do not mean some subtle matter. When we say God, we mean the all-knowing being, all-observing being, all-witnessing being, all-awareful being. That conscious being doesn't have a dimension, it is unlimited. Because consciousness doesn't have a size. Because if consciousness illumines the size, like table is a size, and I am aware of it. Listen to this. Table has a size, I am aware of it. A pebble has a size, I am aware of it. A mountain has a size, I am aware of it. The earth has a size, I am aware of it. It can fall in my attention. And the sun has a dimension. It also falls in my... In fact, every material dimension, every physical dimension has to fall within my attention. Big and small are available to be captured within my attention, within my awareness. And that awareness which illumines the big and the small is neither the big nor the small. It is unlimited because it's comprehensive of both big and small. I'll give you another example. Sound has a certain size, certain vibration, certain intensity. Sound. Let me call them, the sounds, all of them have certain dimensions, certain sizes. Soft sound, big sound, harsh sound. Sounds they have got gradation, they have got variety, but gradation. But all of them are created in silence, registered in silence, and they are resolved in silence. And what is the size of the silence? What is the size of the silence? In fact, silence is not wherein the very gradation of sound comes to end, where the sound resolves. Sounds are brought about. Silence is not brought about. Sounds are brought about in silence. Sounds are made in silence. Sounds are registered in silence, resolved in silence. Therefore, the entire universe is seen in silence and resolves in silence. That silence is not another material thing. Silence is not another form. Silence is the one who registers the resolution of the sound in silence. Silence is not another object. Whenever you want to experience silence, you don't open your eyes and ears. Let me see silence. Silence, silence. In fact, whenever you want to experience silence, say you close your eyes and close your ears and you close your mind out. Just be. Silence. The teacher comes and says, silence. The students don't say, silence. Calm. Very silent. And you know what? Children don't open their eyes. They don't open their eyes. They don't open their ears. They sit tight and close their eyes. Don't talk. They all become Buddhas. The school teacher comes and says, silence. Then what do? Sit quiet. What does it mean? Even children instinctively know. And a lot that goes by the name instinct is nothing but insight. A lot that goes by the name instinct is insight. It's truth. They are stating a truth, of course, without their own knowledge. Whenever you say the word silence, they close their eyes and just be. Meaning thereby, silence is not other than your being. Silence is not other than our being. Form is objectified. Sound is objectified. Silence is being. Silence is not a part of the creation. Silence is the nature of the one who sees the creation. We observe. Therefore, by knowing the subject, one comes to know everything. Not that by knowing the object, you don't know the subject. This particular sloka, this particular sutra is over. What are we doing? Brahma Sutras. We are doing Brahma Sutra. Out of which this sutra is over. The next sutra is Kutaschana Pradhanam Sachabda Vachyam. Why else? What else is the reason? What else is the reason? Meaning, what else is the way by which we can understand that truth is not inert. Truth is not inert matter. Truth is the one who is aware of matter. Satyam is not Truth is not some object. Object is there. It is a creation in the truth. Generally, what happens in life? We always define reality like this. We define truth like this. Whatever looks real is real. But this is called, this is where we begin our life. This is how we begin our life. Whatever looks real is real. That is where, on that inauspicious note, we begin life. It is a very inauspicious note. Whatever looks real is real. Then begins the education. Then begins the shastram. Education means shastram. Education means shastram. That which educates me about the truth is education. That which gives me education just to help me survive is also education, but it is an education for survival, not educating me about the truth. Therefore, the real education is really Shastra Vidya. I don't mind saying that. The real education is studying the Shastram. Swamiji, you are old kind of Swami. How can you say education? Education is only Shastram. I say education is of two kinds. That which can help you make money, that is one education. The entire education. That which can help you make money. That which can help you survive, live comfortable. Shastram is an education that educates you about where the truth is, what the truth is. Now, Shastra says, the definition of the truth is not what looks like truth. What looks truth is truth. Don't say that. He says, what is experienced, but what never disappears in your experience. I see something, I feel something, I experience something, and I never cease to be experiencing it. What can never disappear in my experience is called the truth. Abhadhyamanam is the truth. Therefore, what looks like truth is not truth. What never disappears is the truth. What never disappears is the truth. Dream also looks truth. Dream also looks real, but it is not real because when I wake up, the whole dream disappears. It looks real, but it disappears. It's not the truth. But the one who is dreaming the dream, he survives the disappearance world. The dream goes away, you survive. That's a very big qualification, my God. It's a very, very big qualification. It's a glory of one's being that all that I dreamt is gone, but I survive. That means the one who survives the negation of dream is definitely truer than the dream. The one who survives the negation of the dream is truer than the dream. And the one who survives the waking, you will close your eyes and just waking is gone. You go into the dream and you survive also the waking. Therefore you are truer than waking. And sometimes neither waking nor dream, the whole mind resolves. You are fast asleep. Even the time is not there. Even the time is not there. There is no day, there is no night, there is no gender, there is no form, felt, no universe. You transcend time, space, form, thought. So when time and everything also disappear, you do not disappear, you testify to the fact of the disappearance of the time. And the one who registers, the one who knows the very negation of time, definitely has survived time. And the one who survives the negation of time is truer than time. The one who survives the negation of thought, truer than thought. The one who survives the negation of memory, truer than memory. In fact, that which is truer than anything else is the truth. That which is truer than anything else is the truth. That is going to be the topic of the next sutra. The unnegatable is the truth. Unresolvable is the truth. There is something man is experiencing, and that something never disappears in his experience. Therefore, the conclusion that I die is not really testified by the experience. It's a conclusion. I am a form is a conclusion. It's not a proven fact. It is just a disprovable conclusion. Understand? I am a form is a disprovable conclusion. That I am a form is not a proven fact. You may live, you may go on thinking that I am the form, but then that's not the truth. Similarly, I am born on a given day is not the truth. That I will die also is not. It's all conclusion. So man is living his conclusions. Man is living his conclusions, and man is suffering his conclusions. One's conclusions about oneself are totally in contrast to one's actuality, the nature. Therefore, because they are in contrast to the truth, we only suffer our conclusions. We don't enjoy conclusions. We don't enjoy the conclusion that I am moving towards old age, etc. We can't enjoy the conclusion that I am an insecure form. Nobody can enjoy the conclusion that I am an insecure form. I understand I am an insecure form. I am a form that is subject to death. I am a form that is limited. I am a form that is subject to aging. I am a form that creates all complexes in me. Therefore, nobody is enjoying conclusions. Everybody is suffering conclusions. Therefore, in this world, man is only suffering not anything. He is suffering his views about himself. So suffering doesn't come from outside. Suffering stems from my own views about myself. We have to listen every word. Suffering doesn't come from our being. Our being is free from sorrow. Suffering comes from our wrong views about ourselves. Suffering comes from our wrong conclusions about ourselves. And Shastram is meant to help man overcome these conclusions. This is called education. It educates man about his actual nature and helps him out of all the wrong conclusions about himself. And these wrong conclusions are nothing but confusions anyway. But man doesn't feel he is confused. He says, I am all right. Like a person who is drunk. Hey, something wrong with me. मैं ठीक ही हूँ. आप गिरो नहीं. He is falling down and he is giving you an advice. आप गिरना नहीं, मैं ठीक हूँ. शराब ना पीओ. He is giving an advice. Adi. Similarly, man thinks I am all right. In fact, I'll be more all right if I get little more money. I am all right now, but with more money I'll be more all right. Shastra says, no, you are not all right. Because all your views about yourself are not all right. They're all distorted. You better sit down and think. That way Shastra means education. Educating man about his true nature helps him correct all his views about himself. Clear? That is the next sutra which we'll see later. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. These sutras are all very terse, so can't be otherwise. Has to be. If we have to, because these sutras are heard by those people who really leave everything and sit under a tree and study with total dedication to understand what is being said. But then we're all grihasthas, and therefore still you can do little justice. Very, 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 very terse analysis. Terse in the sense a very good unfoldment. Very good unfoldment. Old literature, talking only about what we are. It's not some casual reference. It's not some casual, it's a studying our being. So definitely there is a lot of analysis. So you have to sustain your mind. Keep your mind alive and awake for 1 hour. Keeping the mind awake without falling asleep. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. The whole night the person did not get sleep. Pata nahi kab subere hoga. Because the whole night he woke up at 12 o'clock. At 1 o'clock. And afterwards he couldn't get sleep. And the rest of the members are all asleep. Nobody gave him company. And then he was only thinking, hey Bhagavan, kab subah hoga? So that at least Swami ji ka class mein jaake thoda baithenge, thoda man bahal jayenge. And Swami ji ka class aate hain, baithte hain, so jate hain. पूरा रात था सोने के लिए, जब सोना था सोया नहीं, तो स्वामी जी की क्लास आगे इधर आके तो गड़बड़ हो जाती. ये रामा हरिओम 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 हरिओम. Some of the people must have been tired. बस, थैंक यू. शास्त्र को पढ़ना नहीं. This is a kind of bhranti, human beings. It's like, your modernity does not curtail your ambition. Even if you become a caveman was ambitious, a medieval man was ambitious, a modern man is ambitious. The rustic nature of the ambition remains for good forever the same. A caveman was rustically ambitious, not judiciously ambitious, but injudiciously, rustically ambitious. A caveman also was ambitious. A modern man also is ambitious. Ambition, it doesn't go. Even if he becomes very sophisticated, that doesn't mean he doesn't have ambition. Not only that, he has all the impulses intact. He is equally greedy, he is ambitious, he is jealous, and he hates. His heart is full of hatred, jealousy, anger. You understand, and ambition. So even the man is educated, even though he is Oxford returned, coming in executive class, that means he has no impulses. He is the same joker, plus little information. Same information. Therefore, that which cannot, any education that doesn't help you contain yourself, contain your anger, contain jealousy, contain greed, contain impulses, and move and then go ahead to knowing the source. That's not education. But generally, human beings always go for an education that will help him fulfill his ambition. Education must be relevant to my ambition. It should be relevant to my desires. He doesn't say it's relevant, it should be relevant to, even though he says it's relevant to my happiness, then he has a definition of happiness. What is happiness? Having more and more things, that's not so. It's okay to say, it's nice to say. I should go for something which is relevant to my happiness. But what is happiness? Material things are happiness. Therefore, anything that brings me a lot of material things. शास्त्र पढ़ने के लिए कोई नहीं मिलते हैं. That is why I get all the students. Who are those students? 70 plus, 80 plus, 90 plus. No. I'm not being critical of that. I'm only stating a fact. Why? Because it is only after a certain time one feels, you just slow down in life, and then you say, okay, now let me study. Actually, this Shastram should be studied by in young age, so that you have time to think. Because it's a very, very profound literature. Therefore, if you are introduced to this great unfoldment, then you still have time in life to think, to reflect. Supposing the last minute towards the end of life, supposing, on the deathbed, supposing, he has no time. In fact, with this exposure to the Shruti, you admire the beauty, the value of life. I'm telling you, this is I mean every word of it. You appreciate, you enjoy the value of living. You appreciate the value of living only when you appreciate the value of the Shastra. There is something beautiful to understand in life. And if there is something beautiful to understand in life, then life becomes beautiful. Then you don't mind making some sacrifices to facilitate life. Then you don't take to this vice, that vice, this crime, that crime, because they all really stifle life. Vices stifle life. Crimes stifle life. They take away, they come in the way of peaceful flow of life. Crimes come in the peaceful flow of life. Vices come in the way of the peaceful flow of life. In fact, anything wrong comes it disturbs the process, the flow of life. And when it disturbs the flow of life, then really you can't use that life for something beautiful. Then you are only, fighting those disturbances. You create disturbance and then you fight against it. Instead, it's better not to go near the crimes and vices and wrongs in life, so that you appreciate the discipline in life. Use the discipline in life to make the flow of life smoother. It is the discipline that makes the flow of life smoother, not too much of money, etc. That's all illusion. It is the discipline, it is the values, it is simplicity, it is honesty, those values, discipline, simplicity, falling in line with the truth makes the flow of life smoother. And then use that life for this beautiful truth, the truth that is sacred. Yeah. आज के लिए इतना काफी है. हरिओम 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 हरिओम. Hey Rama. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.